A bombshell poll just dropped that's sending shockwaves through every Democrat campaign office in America, and it's only going to get worse. For months, the legacy media has been telling you the same story. Democrats are surging. A blue wave is coming. Trump's numbers are cratering. Republicans are finished heading into November. CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, they've all been saying it over and over and over again, just like they did back in 2024. But something just happened. Something big. And even the legacy media is being forced to admit it. They're openly sounding the alarm. And when you look at these numbers, you understand exactly why the entire Democrat Party is in a full-blown panic. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another wonderful day in the glorious golden age that you made possible back in November of 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how your story keeps developing, on how you continue to change the world, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, I want to ask you something. When was the last time the news actually made you feel good? Right? Probably never. So I built something awesome to fix that for you. Patriot Alerts. Scan the QR code below and get my free daily Patriot Alerts straight to your inbox every morning and start your day off right. All right, let's dive right in here. The Economist YouGov poll just released their latest numbers for the congressional generic ballot, and the results are frankly a political disaster for the Democrats. So just to put it in context, back in February of this year, the Economist YouGov had Democrats up by 7 points on the generic ballot. 7. The blue wave was coming, they said. By May, that lead had shrunk to 5 points. Now, in the latest poll conducted June 13th through the 15th of 1,400 registered voters, Democrats are up by only 2 points. It's Democrats 46 to Republicans 44. That's a 5-point swing toward Republicans in just 4 months. 5 points. And it's not just the Economist YouGov. It's happening across the board. So much so that even CNN is being forced to sound the alarm.
And Harry, we've been talking about this. As time goes on, you and I have kept on looking at these numbers saying it just doesn't look like the numbers we've seen when there have been waves for Democrats in the past. What are the trends in the other polls?
Yeah, okay, so this is not just one poll in which we are seeing this. There is this group of pollsters that are out there that are just not showing the wave you might expect given where the president's approval rating is. Okay, what are we talking about? We're talking about NBC, Marquette University Law School, and Ipsos. Look at where they were January and February, and look at where they are May and June. NBC, down a point. MU Law, down 3 points. Ipsos, basically staying the same. So the Democrats hold these leads, but again, you have this group of pollsters that are out there where this lead, simply put, is not matching what you might expect if you're expecting a Democratic wave.
Translation, there is no blue wave. It's simply not there. CNN is admitting it. It's not when you look at the polling aggregate. Not when you look at YouGov, NBC, Marquette, Ipsos. It's not there. In fact, it's the opposite. Across the entire polling universe, the trend is identical. The Democrats' lead is collapsing, and it's collapsing fast. Now, it actually gets worse. These numbers are just the tip of the iceberg. If you've been with this channel now over the years through a couple of election cycles, and by the way, if not, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. But if you've been with me, say, in the last election cycle or the last couple election cycles, you recall that there's something called a summer response bias for Democrats. Do you remember that? We talked about this, well, I guess so at this time 2 years ago, right, in 2024, when Trump's poll numbers started taking a dip. It was very noticeable in July and August, and I was telling you, don't worry, that's a classic response bias. Bottom line, historically, and every legacy outlet knows this, by the way. They just don't tell you. And by the way, frankly, I think this is why they're freaking out right now. But historically, Republican polling drops during the summer, and Democrat polling gets a bump. And that's because basically Republicans have lives. They have families. They go on vacation. They drop out of politics during the summer months. They're psychologically healthier. Whereas Democrats are these, I'm sorry, I know JD kind of did a mea culpa with that. But Democrats are these cat ladies living alone in their apartments, counting down the seconds to when they get to go to the next No Kings protest. So Democrats tend to get a bump in the summer months and Republicans tend to dip. For example, we saw that most explicitly around the time, actually this time back in 2022, in June of 2022, when the Dobbs decision came out, when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, Democrats got a massive bump that lasted right through the summer. But now, same time, June, I mean, you saw the polls. Where's the bump? They're up 2, 3, low single digits. There is no summer bump. It's simply not there. And you just, historically speaking, in terms of the past being precedent, you got to understand how catastrophic that is. Because again, historically, Democrat numbers are always higher in the summer than they are ultimately on election day in November. So if they're only up by 2 or 3 in June, what does that say for November? So basically, the Democrats were counting on a massive surge, a double-digit lead in the summer that would give them the breathing room they needed for the margin to shrink but still dominate in November. But they're not getting it. They're not getting the bump. And that is a massive, massive warning sign for the Democrats. So what's driving this Republican recovery? Well, bottom line, gas prices, they are still too high for sure, but they are actually lower than they were in 2022 in the last midterms. And this YouGov poll was conducted during the time Trump announced the peace deal with Iran that permanently opens the Strait of Hormuz, gets the oil flowing. And gang, in the end, that's the ultimate standard that voters are going to judge this whole operation by with Iran. Not by neocon talking points, not by doomer podcaster tantrums. Bottom line, did that operation contribute to my bottom line? Did it make my gas prices lower? Did it make energy cheaper? Did it make the cost of living cheaper? If yes, thumbs up. No screed from Karl Rove or Tucker Carlson is going to change that. And it looks as if that cautious optimism is already breaking through among voters. And the public is just seeing gas prices going down. They're seeing a foreign policy win. They're seeing the economy surging. They're seeing the big America 250 celebrations, the World Cup excitement. They're like, this is cool. I like this. Let's keep this going. But like I said, this polling is just the tip of the iceberg. There's more. And the news gets even worse for the Democrats. But first, right now, an estimated 31 million Americans are taking GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Wegovy. But as more people start using them, more concerns are starting to surface as well. In just the past few months alone, lawsuits tied to these drugs have nearly doubled in the United States, jumping from around 2,000 cases at the beginning of the year to nearly 4,000 today. I mean, look at these celebrities who succumb to what's called Ozempic face. And that doesn't look like the picture of health to me. Now, some of these side effects could be much more serious, including stomach paralysis, organ death, anxiety, depression, and sudden vision loss. Some people are even reportedly dying. For many people, weight gain may have less to do with willpower and more to do with what's happening in your gut. Researchers are learning more every year about how much the gut microbiome impacts things like cravings, bloating, inflammation, digestion, mood, energy levels, and long-term weight management. So instead of simply slowing the digestive system down, many people are now looking for ways to actually support their gut naturally. And that's one reason kimchi has gotten so much attention of late. Kimchi has 900 plus beneficial probiotics that help support digestion, reduce bloating, improve regularity, and promote a healthier gut environment naturally. Some studies have even pointed to kimchi's remarkable ability to support healthy body composition. In one preclinical study, researchers observed body fat reductions of up to 31.8%. Now, the problem is that most people simply aren't eating enough kimchi consistently to see meaningful results. So that's why Brightcore created Kimchi 1, with over 900 plus strains of beneficial bacteria that deliver all the benefits of real kimchi in convenient capsules. No taste, no smell, non-GMO, and 100% made right here in the USA. Today, you can try Kimchi 1 by clicking the link below for 25% off your order, or for the best deal available, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off plus free shipping. Give them a call now at 888-597-0233. That's 888-597-0233. Now, the real nightmare here for the Democrats is how their paltry lead in the generic ballot compares to the daunting, newly redistricted congressional map. So what you're seeing here are the three major congressional projection models, and you'll notice all of them, all three have the Republicans beating the Democrats going into November. So you got crystal ball, with Republicans have 213 safe or leaning seats, Democrats at 206 with 16 toss-ups. Inside elections has the Republicans at a safe 217. Remember, they only need 218 to keep their majority. They've got a safe 217 with Democrats at 204 with 14 toss-ups, and Cook has the Republicans at 212, Democrats at 205 with 18 toss-ups. So what you have to get here is that if we were looking at this map back in 2018, the last time Democrats took control of the House, that map would be inverted. The Democrats were up with a safe 210 seats. The Republicans are down with a safe 195 seats with 30 toss-ups. And the Democrats did not sweep those toss-ups. The Republicans picked up plenty of those toss-up seats. So, again, what the Democrats would need here, if there were any hope of significant gains, is they would need to have a super-duper double-digit lead in the generic ballot to guarantee that they'll win the vast majority of the toss-ups, possibly even flip some of the lean red seats, which even if they did, again, according to Inside Elections forecasts, the Republicans just need one toss-up seat to retain their majority at 218. The Democrats are simply in a bad position. In the end, Democrats need to gain seats. Republicans just need to not lose them. That's the calculus right now. And it's clearly favoring the Republicans as we speak. Here's yet another indicator how things are going. Voter registration. Again, if you've been with this channel now for some months, you know we've been following this very closely, as has the great historian Larry Schweikert. In the 30 states that track voter registration by party affiliation, Republicans are dominating in all 30. And I mean dominating not just for months, we're talking now for years. NBC News has reported that Republicans have reduced the long-standing Democrat registration advantage by over 1 million voters just since the 2024 elections alone. 1 million. And it's happening across the board. Look at what the National Republican Congressional Committee found when they analyzed 28 of the most competitive House districts in the country. Look at this. So after the 2020 election, Democrats had a 733,000 voter registration edge over Republicans in those districts, in those toss-up districts. Fast forward to today, they have lost all 733,000 of those voters. Republicans now actually have a small advantage. That's an almost 800,000 voter swing in the most competitive districts in America towards the GOP. That is what voter registration outreach efforts get you. Thank you very much, Scott Pressler. And keep in mind, voter registration is one of the most accurate predictive indicators for how people actually vote. They're not as volatile as poll numbers that can swing 5 points in a month. These are real human beings who walked into a government office or went online and they officially declared their allegiance to, in this case, the Republican Party. And that's the most accurate predictor for how they're going to vote. And as if things couldn't possibly get worse for the Democrats, lo and behold, the Republicans are swimming in cash while the Democrats are wallowing in debt. The Republican National Committee entered this spring with $109 million cash on hand, while the DNC had just 15 million, but they were already 17 million in outstanding debt. I mean, seriously, you couldn't script this better. But that's just the party committees. When you add in the full Republican ecosystem, the RNC, the NRCC, the NRSC, allied super PACs like the Congressional Leadership Fund, and most importantly, Trump's MAGA Inc. super PAC, Republicans have upwards of $1 billion available to defend seats, expand the map, and go on offense. Republicans can defend every single vulnerable incumbent and flood marginal seats with cash to flip them. Democrats have to make agonizing choices about which races to fund and which ones to abandon. That is not a position you want to be in going into the most consequential midterms in a generation. So let's bring this all together. The Economist YouGov has Democrats' lead down to just 2 points, a 5-point collapse in 4 months, with NBC, Marquette, and Ipsos all showing the same trend. The summer bump the Democrats always count on is simply not materializing. CNN's own Harry Anton compared this to 2018-2006, found it doesn't come close. The House redistricting already gives Republicans a clear path to holding the majority. The voter registration numbers in the 30 states that track party affiliation show Republicans flipping nearly 1 million voters in the most competitive districts in America. And the Republican war chest is filled with $1 billion ready to deploy, while Democrats are literally wallowing in debt. The legacy media will still keep desperately trying to tell you that the blue wave is coming. But the data, the real data, not the narrative, says something very different. And it says the Democrats have every reason to panic. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear what you have to say. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. Love you guys. God bless. Friends, listen. We are not watching the decline of Christian civilization. We are watching its reawakening. I've written a free ebook, The Reawakening of Christian Civilization, and a free 3-part video series to go with it. The whole package is yours at no cost. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or hit the link in the description. Go grab it. It's all waiting for you.